Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for the PlayStation 2 original version. Of course, I have the greatest hits version, but nonetheless, the original kind of release of this first game in this really well-known, apparently well-regarded franchise that I didn't know was like a 4-game franchise now. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I got this as a present from my wife, for Christmas this past year in 2022. And I did a video on it when I did my haul video talking about what I had gotten for Christmas. And I had some people, mainly my friend Austin, who has a channel called Monster Blood here on YouTube. He does book reviews and stuff. You should check him out. He did a review, or a comment, talking about how he used to love these games, all 4 of them. Again, I didn't even know there was 4. I thought there was just 3. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus came out in 2002. Can you believe that? It is over 20 years old now. Yeah, this game is 20 years old now, closing in on 21 now. Back when PlayStation 2 first came out, it was very popular. I was one of the people who got it pretty early on in the first year or so of it coming out, and I loved, and I still love, my PlayStation 2. I had the original fat black PS2, and that one died on me eventually. Apparently I'm an idiot. I could have just gotten like an air canister to fix the issues I was having apparently. I ended up getting a replacement later on, probably 2013, 2014, 2012, somewhere in there, of the Slim model, which is what I own right now. And the PS2 Slim is pretty great. Anyway, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is one of those early premiere games for the PS2, like Kingdom Hearts, and for me personally, one of my favorites of all time is Star Wars Super Bombad Racing. I loved all of those games. I played the hell out of all 3 of them. Ratchet and Clank as well, which I think came out a couple of years after this one. Or maybe a year. I don't know. Somewhere in there. Anyway, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is, to me, kind of like if you took a Nintendo 64 game and put it on the PS2, that's what it feels like. Very much like Ratchet and Clank. Very much like, from what I remember of the first Jak and Daxter game I also got for this past Christmas from my wife also. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, my friend TC, who was like my best friend when we were kids, we were obsessed with this first game. We played the hell out of it. We never beat it. Well, I didn't, at least. A couple of years down the road, he got back into his PS2. He started playing this again. He beat all 3 of the games. There was only 3 at the time. Back to back. Got them 100% completed. And I remember coming to his house. He lived a little bit of ways away from me. And I remember going to his house and him telling me how he had gotten 100%. He was showing me the inside of the van where you go from map to map and how it would show all the keys, all the, just everything. He had 100%ed the entire game, and it kind of shocked me. And going back now, at the time I thought it was a little kiddish. Of course, at this time when he told me that he had 100%ed the game, I was playing things like GTA San Andreas around 2007 or 2008 when he told me that. I was playing things like GTA. I became obsessed with open world games, that kind of thing, and I was hooked more on that. This game always got me because it was fun. It was very stylish in the way that a comic book art type of style can be. I loved that about it, but it also seemed kind of a little bit lesser than a lot of games I was playing, like Ratchet and Clank, from what I remember. To me personally, from my nostalgic memory, is better than this. But this is like a kid's kind of stealth game, but kind of a platformer at the exact same time. You have to kind of complete levels the way they direct you to do it, but you have to be very stealthy a lot of the time too. If you get shot or like hit one time and you don't happen to have something like a horseshoe on you for good luck to give you another chance, you're dead with that one hit. If you get caught by lights on the side of a building aiming down at the path you're walking on and they bust you walking through whatever, those lights turn red, and if you walk into them again, you get zapped with a laser beam. There's no way to avoid it. There's no second chances. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, it came across to me at first as being a little bit easy. Even though I love the world of it. I genuinely love the gameplay. I love the world. I love that kind of stealth mechanic where you can jump from place to place or kind of hide. You can turn invisible later on in the game. There's a lot of mechanics in this game that I really enjoy. Things that I never even got to when I played it for the first time. The world is very cartoonish, but I really like the execution of this game. I think it's just fun. I can't wait to pick up the other 3 and play them at some point. because of how much fun I had here. Apparently Sly Cooper 5 was in development. I don't know if it got canceled a couple of months ago or something. From what I saw a video, somebody talked about that recently. I hope it's not the case, because I had a really good time with this, and it brought back some really great memories of a game I wish I'd never gotten rid of. At one point in my life, I was getting rid of games I didn't really play that often, and I really regret that. I got rid of things like Ju-On the Grudge, I got rid of things like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, which the original Sly Cooper has a better cover than this one for the greatest hits cover on this video here, which is pretty sad. But let's talk about the story a little bit. Again, I've talked about the gameplay, I've talked about some of the features, and I love the world. It's very... it's like a cartoon world. It reminds me of this game that used to be advertised on Disney Channel called Toon World, I think. Toonland, something like that, where you could play as a cartoon that you designed in kind of like a Club Penguin type of setting, but more 3D. I never got to play that, but I remember it, and this world kind of reminds me of that. It's very silly, very, a little bit over the top, if you will, and I love that about it. That style, the execution of that style is really good. The story... not so much. The story is a great example of how they tried to keep this so focused for kids. And I heard 2 and 3 and 4 did better at this. I heard they were a little bit sharper, if you will, a little bit more clever. This game has, to me, aside from the jokes within the world of the game, it's not really a clever or well-written game, or even well-acted for that matter. Sly Cooper, he is going after this book, and the pages left of a book that's his family heritage, called the Thievius Raccoonus. Basically, 5 villains at one point took the Thievius Raccoonus, tore it up, took portions of it. He has to go hunt these people down and steal back from them, kind of like in a Robin Hood way, but mainly for his ancestry's sake. And throughout the game, every time you beat one of these villains, of course you have to go through like 8 different missions, or platforming game type stuff, to get to each of these boss battles. You kind of start over and over again, so you do that like 5 times. But they're unique enough that very rarely do you feel like you're being put in a repetitive position. But I'll tell you, I thought this game was going to be a lot easier. As I started off with the game, it seemed very simple, very easy. You don't really have to collect coins. You don't really have to collect these little notes to be able to unlock safes in the game to get pages for the Thievius Raccoonus. You kind of just need keys. If you're like myself, just trying to play the story, you kind of just have to complete the task and get to the end of the map on each section leading up to a boss battle to get all the keys to unlock the boss battle. That's really all you have to do. I don't even know why you collect coins. It's kind of like a Banjo-Kazooie type of thing. You can just collect coins for the sake of collecting coins, which, for me, I just don't give a shit. When I figured out that didn't matter, then I just kind of gave up on collecting coins. I just avoided them at that point. I don't know if you played like that. If you did, let me know, because I think it's kind of funny to even have that feature in here. Do the future games have that? I guarantee they probably do. I don't think I've ever played 2, 3, or 4. Especially 4. But 2 and 3 I don't think I ever played. But I know my friend completed these first 3 for sure. Maybe even 4. So the story basically is, like I said, Sly Cooper has 2 friends. One's a turtle who talks like this. His name is Bentley. And then you have another one who's really goofy. He's a big, fat, pink, I guess he's like a hippo. Yeah, he's got to be a hippo. His name is Murray. And he's the driver. Bentley's kind of the brain. Sly Cooper does all the action stunts and trying to go do this and do that on the actual playing field. Now, there's not really a whole different type of missions you can do. Of course, you have your basic platformer thing going from here to there. That stuff, when I'm playing as Sly Cooper, really fun. The level designs can be pretty clever, like I said. Not a whole lot of this game's writing or anything is clever, but the world design, the map design, I do think has some cleverness to it. There are some times I had to sit and actually think on how I was going to go here, here, and here, and there are sometimes you can't do that because you can't see where you got to go next. It's kind of bullshit, but that cartoony nature kind of makes you not want to quit. And that was fun. I enjoyed that. Let's see, what are the other types of game modes in here? One of them is you basically drive like a vehicle around. One in particular involves these crabs that come out of this hole, and you have to kind of get a bunch of treasure chests underwater, and you're kind of like in a scuba machine thing, and you have to shoot at these things while using the right joystick to aim in their direction to take them out so you can get the treasure chest. You have to prevent them from getting more than you have, and that is not super easy. because you get a lot of crabs come out of these holes. And for me, there's something about that bothers me, like creeps me out a little bit. So I got a little bit creeped, a little bit chilled while I was trying to play this particular game. And then there was one that's very similar to this in the final lead up to the final boss battle, the final section of the game, number 5, where you had something similar. You were fighting these things called lava worms that come out of the lava, and they crawl on this rock, and you have to go against 4 of these things at one time while driving your van to try to collect more computers than they have. There's 4 of those fucking guys. You have to collect 60 computers, as fast as you can, while also taking out those 4 lava worms with the square button, which basically punches them, knocks them off the map. But you don't get a whole lot of free time. I finally had to just drive in a circle around the outside rim to take those bastards out because they were so difficult to beat getting the 60 because there's 4 of those fucking guys. I could have understood if they gave you 2 or 3 you had to go against, especially for a game that seems like it's trying to be more kid-friendly and not super challenging for kids. But this was a little challenging, and I'm not going to lie to you. I acted like a fucking kid in the last section of this game. The last, the final boss battle, the battles leading up to that, the 3 or 4 things you have to go through to get to that final boss battle at the end of the game with a character named Clockwork. That stuff, that final section of the game, I played all day yesterday because it was kicking my ass. It was not easy at all because this is a big issue too. When you die, you basically get restarted at the beginning of that section, which is fucking ridiculous. You don't get a checkpoint or anything, which I think is a massive misstep with this game. Not that the maps or levels are super long you have to go through. Some are, most aren't. But when you get to the final battle in this game, the final boss battle with Clockwork, who is a giant owl made of machinery parts, which is cool. I really love the design of the villains, by the way. That particular portion of this is such a pain in the ass because there's 3 phases to that fight. And you can get fucked up real quick. Real quick. You got to be on your toes sometime while playing Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, or you will get fucked up, because they do not play. These villains don't play. I hate the fact that when you have to do shooting missions, where you have to, this one particular game mode that I absolutely hate, it's 3 times in the game you have to do this, but it sucks every time. You will be up on a mountaintop trying to protect, Murray, for example, as he runs from place to place, and it's a long map. And this shit should have had a checkpoint, because he'll be running from, left to right across the screen. Villains might run out to come get him. You have to shoot them fast enough, but you have to make sure he doesn't get shot in the process, or that you shoot too close to him because of the explosive rounds you're using. You might kill him. You know how many times I killed Murray? Do you understand how many times I fucking killed Murray by accident? It is truly frustrating. And then you have to start that map over every single time. Do you know how close I came to the 3 different times you had to do this game mode, where I would be right there at the end, and then something completely unpredictable that would happen out of the blue would happen, and there's no way to beat that guy that comes up and fights Murray or whoever you're playing to protect? Do you know how frustrating that is? That's ridiculous. 2 and 3 need to have checkpoints. I hope to God they do. I kind of understand and give a pass to why this game didn't. But if those games don't, oh my God, I will pull my hair out. What's left of it. Anyway, moving along to the final kind of mode. This is just a racing mode where you race on a map as Murray in the van, and you kind of just have to drive around 5 other cars. Those fucking cars cheat. The first time you ever have to do a racing map in this game, they cheat. You can get bottles of nitrous oxide to use in your car, but you get I'm not kidding, 1 second of a blast of nitrous. It's really not worth it. It's really not even worth trying to get those things. Just stay right up on the tail of these cars. In the 3 laps you have to do every single race, just try to cut the corners as quick as you possibly can. Try to knock them off the road if you can. Most of the time you can't. Try that out, because the nitrous oxide does not help most of the time. Some of the races I had to do, mainly that first one, I had to do about 6 or 7 times. And that's frustrating, because you'd get to right at the end of the map, the last lap, and then you don't win. That's frustrating. Anyway, by the end of this game now, I had 65% of the game unlocked. And that's just kind of basic. If you're just playing the story mode, just getting the keys, that's pretty much what you'll have. I may one day try to go back and get the notes and stuff, but I really don't have enough fun or enough investment to go back and do that, but I could see why people like my best friend TC from childhood went and did that. It has a very addictive style to it. I found myself last weekend, I couldn't play this game because of something that happened in my personal life. My wife and I weren't home, and I couldn't be here to try to play this, so I kind of just said, well, shit, I really had the addiction. I wanted to come back home and play it, but I just couldn't. So that was kind of a shame. So yesterday I wanted to wrap it up as soon as I could, and here we are. The different maps that you go through to get to each boss battle is pretty nice. You have one that's like Chinese themed that has like a panda you have to fight. That's pretty cute. He knows kung fu. He throws fireballs, that kind of thing. There's one that's like a frog you have to fight that's a woman who sings. And that boss battle's kind of unique, but very, very frustrating once again. And that's like a Louisiana swamp type of thing. I really, really liked that map. Really good one. There's one involving snow. I really like that in the Arctic setting. I pretty much enjoyed all the maps. Again, the art style for everything is really good. Let's talk about the voice acting, though. I think pretty much all the villains are kind of basic and bland. They're just villainous voices, but the character designs are pretty cool. They make up for that. They feel like Kung Fu Panda designs a lot of the time. Even the ones who aren't Kung Fu themed. Still. Let's see. Those performances are okay. Bentley and Murray are probably the better parts of this game. There's one character that's kind of Sly Cooper's arch nemesis. She's not really a bad guy. She's a good guy. She's a cop named Carmelita Fox. And she's like a Latina fox who's coming after you. She has like tight leather pants on and shit. She has a gun. A lot of the time in this game as part of the platform where she'll be shooting at you, blowing up everything around you. You have to run away from that. That's kind of fun. I really enjoyed that mode of the game. It gets a little tense sometimes. But her voice actress did a pretty good job, I think. A pretty solid job for what she had to do. And then we have the fellow playing Sly Cooper. I'm not going to blame him. I kind of blame the writing. I kind of blame the directing. But I'll tell you this. That poor guy, I think his name is like Stephen Miller or something, or Steve Miller. I don't know. That poor guy is so awful in this game. Sly Cooper's design is very cool. I really like it. I like the world. I like everything I talked about in this review. But that voice acting for Sly Cooper is so disappointing and so cringy. I remember this character having so much more charm when I was a kid. And a lot of it has to do with he's a fox or he's a raccoon that carries a cane and he can sneak around, all these abilities he gets throughout the game. A lot of my interest from this character from when I was a kid was stuff that had nothing to do with the voice acting. The voice acting for him is just bad. And apparently he played this character for every single game. I looked into it. So what surprises me with that is that they didn't replace him because his performance is truly awful. I mean, when I say bad, I mean I don't understand how else to tell you. It's truly horrible. But with that being said, if they brought him back for 2, 3, and 4, he has to have improved. But for this game, if you're playing it and you haven't played it in a long time, I'm telling you, prepare yourself. Because when Sly Cooper talks, there is no charm. There is no real inflection. There's really everything that a voice actor should have that you would hear on the most basic of cartoons in modern-day terrible cartoons. This guy doesn't have it. It's kind of a shame, because the rest of the game, I think, is pretty solid and pretty fun. Especially kind of fun. But that acting for Sly Cooper is awful, and I don't blame him, because the writing for Sly Cooper's bad, too. The game overall and that character, the writing is just bad for him. But they really did not do this character any benefit with the actor they picked. I hope he's better in 2, 3, and 4. He has to be, for them to have held on to him for so long. But in this game, that's a little rough, just so you know. By the way, the music, I think the music is good here. Quite a bit, as a matter of fact. It kind of changes from area to area that you go into. But I also love even the simple, very small details that you have. When Sly Cooper is sneaking around somebody that could bust him and could take him out, like one of these guys holding flashlights in the game. When you're getting closer and closer to them and you're trying to sneak or go invisible or whatever, there's this very subtle detail that most people don't talk about ever, and I never noticed it when I was a kid. There's like somebody took a microphone, took their guitar, and just pluck, like doop, 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 like you're getting closer to the person with the flashlight. That is absolutely genius. That's a genius detail that I had never seen in this game until this time around. The music, little details like that, very good. The sound design, really good. It's also weird when I put this game into pause mode, like I put it on the menu or whatever. It sounds like my modern day flat screen TV turns into a CRTV all of a sudden. It's a very loud buzzing noise. That's kind of common for these older games at that time in PS2. But it makes me laugh. It's kind of like when I play PS1 games every once in a while. That happens there too. But anyway, when it comes to Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, do I recommend it? Yeah, it was really fun. I had a really good time. For the most part, I had a really good time. Yeah, it's not perfect. But do I want to check out 2, 3, and 4? Yeah, I'm going to buy those this year, God willing. Because I thought this was really surprisingly fun. I can't believe how people don't talk about this more. I can't believe that people don't talk about the art style that was introduced here. This was in the heyday of PlayStation. This is one of those times, again, with Kingdom Hearts, which I think is one of the most beautiful looking games I've ever played. This is at one of those times where games were overlooked so much. And it was like, again, taking a Nintendo 64 game like Banjo-Kazooie and putting it on PS2 in 2002, 20 years ago. That's incredible to me. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, I wish I'd never gotten rid of my copy. I really, really enjoyed this. And my best friend, TC, from childhood, who I'm still friends with to this day, still talks about it. We talked about it around Christmas when I told him I got this. He was excited for that. He was talking about how he wanted to go back and play it too, and he's stuck on the races, as a matter of fact. The races are really difficult in this game sometimes. With all that being said, though, you'll have a challenge here if you take out the time to go check it out again. It's fun. I recommend it if you haven't played it in a long time or never played it before, and you just missed it. You want to check it out as a back catalog item or something. This is worthwhile. You can find it pretty cheap. I think my wife got it like brand new, this greatest hits copy for like 10 or 15 bucks off Amazon. Not bad. Not bad at all. Anyway, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, I do recommend it. I hope you check it out, and I hope you'll tune in. I'll probably try to get some reviews for 2, 3, and 4 out in the near future, hopefully sometime this year, or at least one more by the end of this year. We'll see what happens, but I probably won't rush out and buy them anytime soon. I have a couple more things I'd rather grab first, and we will see what happens at that point later on. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.